Ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to see wings to know that angels are near. You don't have to hear voices to understand that heaven is speaking. There are some things you discern not with your ears or your eyes, but with your spirit. When you are a blessed woman, truly blessed by God, there are invisible forces assigned to your life. And those forces don't just follow you, they surround your home. Some of you have wondered why the enemy's weapons didn't prosper, why the plans of the wicked fell apart before they touched you, why every attempt to disrupt your peace was silenced before it could enter your door. It's because God didn't just bless you. He stationed angels at your address. A blessed woman is not just favored, she is guarded. She doesn't fight like others because heaven fights for her. When others panic, she remains still. Why? Because there is a peace that passes understanding that lives in her dwelling. That peace is not passive, it is powerful. It is a shield, it is the echo of the wings of angels hovering over her children, her husband, her walls. Some interruptions in your schedule weren't accidents. They were angelic interventions. You missed the bus, that wasn't a mistake. That was divine redirection. The meeting was canceled. That was heaven rerouting the path of harm. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that God is watching over you. When you begin to see provision come from unexpected places, don't be surprised. Blessed women don't always receive from their job. They receive from Jehovah Jireh. He sends what you need when you don't even know you need it. And when it comes, it's not just money, it's protection, it's wisdom, it's positioning, it's divine covering over your household. A blessed woman has eyes that see beyond the surface. Her discernment is sharp because heaven is whispering to her. She knows when something's off. She knows when to pray. She knows when to move. She knows when to shut the door and protect her atmosphere. That's not fear, it's foresight. That's not paranoia, it's prophetic insight. Your home is not normal. You may not have the biggest house, but the glory rests on your walls. Your couch has hosted angels unaware. Your prayers have shifted spiritual climates. That's why there's a weight of peace that people feel when they enter. They don't know what it is, but you do. It's the fruit of divine presence. Some of you don't even realize how many darts were aimed at your household but never landed. Why? Because angels stood at the gate, because the blood of the Lamb marked your doorpost. Because God doesn't just bless people, He secures territories. Your home is not just your residence, it is heaven's embassy. And when God raises a woman to carry His favor, He increases her spiritual authority. You walk into a room and things shift. Not because you said anything, but because your presence is backed by heaven. You pray and things break. You speak and darkness flees. You declare and angels move. That's the power of a blessed woman who knows who she is. There is a kind of peace that cannot be explained by human reasoning. It is not the absence of problems, nor the lack of external noise. It is a divine stillness that rests in the atmosphere of your home. This peace is not something you create through furniture, soft music, or warm lighting. It is the evidence of divine presence. It is the atmosphere of heaven echoing through your living space. When God places His hand on a woman's life and calls her blessed, one of the first signs is the transformation of her environment. Chaos may rage outside, but inside there is calm. Storms may blow through the world, but within the walls of her home there is a sanctuary of serenity. This peace cannot be disturbed by bad news or shaken by sudden changes. It comes from knowing that God is in control. It is the result of prayers whispered at midnight, worship songs sung while washing dishes, and scriptures declared over children as they sleep. The peace that dwells in a blessed woman's home is not ordinary. It is guarded. It is protected by angels who have been assigned to keep confusion out and usher clarity in. Even guests can sense it. They walk in and feel their spirit exhale. They sit down and begin to open up, not knowing why they suddenly feel safe. That's not just hospitality, it's holiness. That's not just comfort, it's covenant. The unexplainable peace in your home is proof that heaven is involved. It's a reminder that your dwelling has become more than a residence. It's a resting place for the Spirit of God. And where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is not only liberty, there is order, protection, and divine stillness. That stillness is not weak. It is power under control. There is a kind of peace that doesn't make sense to the natural mind. It is not tied to circumstances, income, or perfection. It is a quiet confidence that saturates the walls of your home, even when life outside is filled with noise and confusion. This kind of peace is not man-made. It is heaven-sent. It is the evidence that the presence of God is near, that angels are standing watch, and that your home has been marked for divine preservation. A woman who is truly blessed walks in authority that affects not just her life, but the very atmosphere around her. Her home becomes a place of rest, not just for her, but for everyone who enters. There may still be challenges, but they do not control the environment. Arguments don't linger. Worry doesn't settle. Anxiety may knock, but it does not live there. That is the mark of spiritual protection. It's when your soul is anchored, even when the winds blow. It's when your children sleep without fear and your nights are not tormented by unseen forces. It's when the enemy tries to stir up strife, but somehow it cannot gain access. That's when you know peace has been assigned to your dwelling. People might visit and say there's something different about this place. They don't always have the words for it, but their spirit knows. They feel safe, heard, and calm. That is not coincidence. That is what happens when a woman invites heaven into her house, and heaven responds by sending angels to stand guard. Peace is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of divine order. And when God places his hand on a home, that order becomes unshakable, even in the middle of the storm. There are moments in life when doors open that you didn't knock on, and blessings arrive that you didn't chase. This is not luck. It is not coincidence. It is unusual favor, and it is the mark of a woman who is divinely covered. When God assigns angels to guard your home, they don't just protect you from harm. They also guide resources, people, and opportunities to your door. Provision comes in ways that defy logic. Bills are paid when the math didn't add up. Someone shows up with exactly what you needed and says, "You were on my heart." These are not random acts of kindness. They are orchestrated acts of heaven. A blessed woman lives under an open heaven. Her needs are met not just through her efforts, but through divine alignment. People are compelled to help her, to favor her, to pour into her without expecting anything in return. And the favor that finds her is not normal. It is uncommon. It is unearned. And it is unstoppable. It's the kind of favor that sets her apart in a crowd, makes her name remembered in rooms she's never entered in, and positions her for increase she didn't apply for. This is what happens when angels are sent to ensure her home lacks nothing essential for her purpose. Even in seasons of drought, she sees rain while others are struggling to make ends meet. Somehow, her oil doesn't run dry. It's not because she's better, it's because she's covered. The favor and provision that show up at her door are evidence that heaven has taken interest in her household. Her home becomes a place of overflow, not just for herself, but for others connected to her. This is the nature of divine favor. It flows where the presence of God is welcome, and it lingers where purpose lives. There is a gift that heaven gives to a blessed woman that cannot be taught in classrooms or earned through intellect. It is the gift of discernment and revelation. It is the quiet knowing, the spiritual insight that alerts her to what eyes cannot see and ears cannot hear. This is not suspicion. It is not guessing. It is divine perception. It is the Spirit of God whispering truths to her spirit so that she can guard what has been entrusted to her. When angels are assigned to your home, you are not left blind. You are given the ability to sense danger before it comes, to detect false intentions behind polite smiles, and to navigate spiritual warfare without fear. A blessed woman sees beyond surface. She knows when something is off, even when everything appears normal. She may not always be able to explain it, but she feels it in her spirit. That feeling is not paranoia, it is protection. That uneasiness is not doubt, it is divine instruction. And when she obeys those nudges, she is not being overly cautious. She is being led by the Spirit. This kind of insight is what keeps her home safe. It is how she prays ahead of the storm. It is how she shuts the door to wrong influences before they can enter. Discernment allows her to detect the spiritual condition of her environment. Revelation gives her clarity when confusion tries to creep in. Together they build a shield around her home. She knows what battles to fight and which ones to ignore. She knows who belongs in her life and who carries hidden agendas. It's not always visible, but her spirit is awake. And because she listens, angels are able to move swiftly, cutting off what the enemy planned before it takes root. Her home becomes a stronghold, not just of safety, but of supernatural awareness. When a woman is truly blessed and walking in alignment with God's purpose, her home becomes more than just a place to eat and sleep. It becomes a dwelling of the Spirit. The atmosphere is not casual or carnal. It is charged with the presence of God. It is persistent, consistent, and intentional. There's a rhythm of heaven in the air. Prayer in the morning, worship in the afternoon, thanksgiving at night. The walls have heard declarations of faith. The floors have absorbed the kneeling of surrendered hearts. And the air carries the residue of spiritual warfare and victory. A persistent spiritual atmosphere doesn't happen by accident. It is cultivated. It is guarded. It is the result of a woman who refuses to let her home be led by emotions or circumstances. She has made her living space an altar, a place where angels feel welcome and demons feel unwelcome. You can sense it when you walk in. There is peace that quiets anxiety and a weight of holiness that silences confusion. Children feel safer, guests feel calmer, and even chaos has to wait outside the door. This atmosphere is why attacks lose power before they begin. It is why arguments dissolve quickly and why depression cannot linger. It is not because life is perfect. It is because God is present. This presence is maintained through discipline, through the reading of the word, fasting, intercession, and speaking life over every room. Even when no one else is watching, she sets the tone. Her presence aligns with God's purpose, and that purpose saturates her home. Such an atmosphere draws the attention of heaven. Angels are not drawn to noise. They are drawn to order, to honor, to divine atmosphere. And when that atmosphere is persistent, the home becomes a fortress, a refuge, and a gate of glory in the earth. There are battles you saw coming, and then there are the ones you never knew existed. A truly blessed woman walks in divine protection, not just from the visible threats, but from the hidden ones, the silent dangers that never make it to her doorstep. When God assigns angels to your home, they don't wait for trouble to arrive. They intercept it. They are positioned at the gates, at the windows, around the beds, shielding every part of your life from what the enemy designed in secret. Some attacks are loud arguments, accidents, betrayals. Others are quiet, spiritual manipulation, emotional heaviness, generational curses. But when your life is under the covering of God, Both the loud and the quiet weapons are rendered powerless. You may feel resistance, but it doesn't break you. You may hear rumors, but they don't reach your spirit. You may walk through seasons of testing, but you never walk alone. There are angelic forces surrounding your home, like walls of fire, blocking what was meant to destroy you. You've been spared from things you didn't even know were aimed at you. The car that didn't hit you, the contract you didn't sign, the person you didn't date, the opportunity you missed that would have led to disaster. These are not coincidences, they are coverings. When you are truly blessed, heaven does not wait for you to pray about everything. Sometimes it moves before you even know there's a need. This protection is a sign of God's covenant with you. It means your home has been marked. It means your children are watched over. It means that spiritual attacks that worked on others won't work on you. Not because you're stronger, but because you're surrounded. Angels have been sent, and their assignment is clear. Protect what God has blessed, and they do not fail. When a woman walks under the blessing of God, her authority begins to increase, not by position, not by title, but by presence. There's a spiritual weight she carries that shifts the atmosphere without raising her voice. It is not about dominance, it is about dominion. Heaven recognizes her voice, and hell respects her boundaries. Her prayers are not empty words, they are decrees. Her worship is not routine, it is warfare. She moves in quiet strength because she knows who stands with her. This increase in spiritual authority is not accidental. It is the fruit of intimacy with God and obedience to his voice. As her authority grows, things begin to respond differently around her. Sure. Doors open, not because of connections, but because of covenant. People begin to ask for her counsel, sensing the wisdom she carries. Her words carry weight, and her silence carries discernment. Children listen, spouses take notice, even strangers sense something different. That difference is not charm, it is spiritual rank. It is what happens when a woman lives in alignment with heaven's agenda. She no longer reacts from emotion, she responds from revelation. This level of authority causes the enemy to tread carefully. Attacks become less frequent, and when they do come, they don't last long. Why? Because the woman who understands her spiritual authority no longer fights for victory, she fights from it. Angels are not just protecting her, they are partnering with her. When she speaks, they move. When she declares God's word, they enforce it. Her home becomes a place of rulership, where peace is not just a feeling, it is a command. This is the inheritance of a blessed woman, not just to be safe, but to be strong. Not just to be protected, but to be powerful. And her authority grows not for her own sake, but to carry out heaven's assignment on earth. If you've seen unexplainable peace, unusual favor, divine revelation, persistent spiritual atmosphere, protection from the invisible, and a growing authority in your spirit, it's not random. It's a sign that heaven has stationed angels at your door. You are not just a woman surviving life. You are a woman marked by God, covered by grace, and surrounded by glory. Your home is not ordinary. It is a sanctuary. Your presence is not common. It is prophetic. And your journey is not accidental. It is intentional. God doesn't assign angels to places. He doesn't value. If angels have been sent to guard your home, it's because there's something sacred inside you. You are a carrier of purpose, a voice of legacy, and a vessel through whom heaven touches. Don't ever underestimate who you are and what your home represents in the spirit. You are not weak, overlooked, or forgotten. You are chosen, guarded, and destined. So stand firm, keep praying, keep discerning, Keep creating a spiritual atmosphere that welcomes the presence of God. Because when heaven recognizes your house, hell cannot trespass. And when God calls you blessed, no curse, no storm, no darkness can undo it. You are not just protected, you are positioned, not just favored, you are appointed. And as long as angels stand watch at your gates, you will not fall, you will flourish, you will rise, and every generation under your roof will know that this is the house the Lord has built.